So this week on The Naked Truth, Trisha Hirschberger would like to know what my concept is for a comic book. Oh, this could take all night. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am fat, I am naked, therefore this is most likely a naked truth, and this particular naked truth, as is most commonly the case, is brought to you by one Trisha Hirschberger. The rules here is that we film from the shoulders up, and we are naked not because it's a sexy thing, but because we are showing the world that we are honest, open, and have nothing to hide. And today, the question is, if you were going to write a comic book, what would it be about? Well, where to start? I mean, I actually have a film script called Walker in the Trees, and one of the things I wanted to do with that, the novelization has an entire sequence of events, a subplot that doesn't appear in the film, that could almost be its own movie, and I want to turn that into a comic book. But I'm assuming we're looking more into the traditional concept of comic books. Probably the idea I developed the most, the one I'm most interested in, is a character I call Hellscape. Now, who is Hellscape? Well, you have to start by setting the scene. Imagine a world where superheroes exist, and they're primarily bounty hunters, because how else do they fund their operation? I mean, that whole Batman, I'm out there for good, this is about goodness and truth, and the American way, don't pay the bills. So here's the thing. They're out in the world. Superheroes are kind of freaks. Half freak, half superhero. More grounded in reality than our superheroes, but not entirely grounded in reality. And they collect bounties. Well, there's whatever that universe's version of, League of Superheroes. They hear about the biggest bounty ever. It's $1 billion to capture a villain called Dominion. Dominium. It's master in Greek. Anyway, or master in Latin. My bad. And here's the thing. Dominium is such a hard person to capture because he's kind of similar to Kilgrave in that he can enslave you with his mind. But he doesn't, I mean, once he enslaves you, you're his. That's it. The whole distance thing doesn't mean anything, and he just likes hurting people, so he goes out there and, he'll go and capture famous people for his collections of people and things. Well, one day, the superhero group, they need the money. They're going after him for no good reason, even though they know they're going to fail. And he's robbing a bank. Doesn't need money, he's just doing it to do it. Just so happens the security guard at that bank doesn't fall under his control. Everybody else does. And Dominium, he has everybody grab the security guard. They're holding him. He reaches out his hand to this security guard and starts to shake. And everybody lets the guard go. And Dominium does something similar to this. It's a hellscape. Dramatic, I know. I mean, it wouldn't work in a movie, but comic book. Okay? And he just keeps repeating that word, hellscape. Hellscape, when the heroes arrive to stop him. And what they find out is what he means by hell. He's keep pointing at the guard and saying hellscape. What it turns out is this particular individual represents the other side of human sanity. He is what happens when you place a human being under a perfectly balanced level of extreme pressure. So the reason Hellscape could not control him is because inside that mind is a pressure so powerful that it just crushes the thoughts of Dominium. He is a character, Hellscape is a character that has been very badly abused in life. And what happens is that the superheroes have to kind of adopt this guy in order to collect the bounty, or else Hellscape gets the bounty on his own. So they kind of adopt him. Hellscape says, no, we have to go back to Dominium's lair, and he uses this wound he's suffered, this wound he's placed upon Dominium, to bring him back to his lair and find all the people he's captured. And of course now the link just pops. He can no longer control people because his thoughts are in chaos because of what he sees inside Hellscape's mind. So here we have someone who is absolute kryptonite to another telepath, to a telepath in general, because he's not necessarily telepathic, but otherwise he's completely useless. So the whole time he's going, alright, what can I do to make myself useful for this adventure? And, you know, like he figures, well, maybe I should learn how to use a gun. So he goes to the range, shoots a gun, he's flying off to wherever it is, and Adamant is sort of the Superman. He's the indestructible one. He's part of a species of man, a subgroup of man who can grow diamonds in their skin, and they feel human, they look human, but you can't pierce their skin because they've got these hard, dentite-like protrusions. And, you know, Adamant goes, oh yeah, let me see the gun. I want to make sure the safety's on. Yep, safety's on. And Hellscape's like looking at his gun bent in half. He goes, I'm useless. Why did you do that? He goes, look, you're the mascot, bro. Just sit in the back and pretend everything's okay. And then, of course, what I want to be the big reveal, I guess maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but let's face it, I'm never going to get this done. I'm never going to get to produce this comic, so I'm going to give you the big reveal. The big reveal is, in this comic universe, they do have an astral plane. What that is, like, where does Dr. Fate and Dr. What's his name? There was a movie made. Doctor Strange. Where does Doctor Strange and all of his villains hang out? In the astral plane. So they got their version of the astral plane, and in the astral plane of this world, heroes don't look. Nobody looks the same on the other side. They're augmented somehow based on what's truly in their mind. So, I mean, if somebody has a lot of self-doubt, they may be muscular and huge on this side. On the other side, they're weak and flimsy if they have that self-doubt. So, the other side is a reflection of what is in your mind, who you are as a person, as opposed to what you physically look like. And then when Hellscape gets over there, he winds up being this, like, 20-foot monster. And it's like, oh my God, what is that? What is that? Hellscape's like, where? Hellscape? Yeah? It's you. And he looks down at his hands, and so here is the thing. He's this character that is supposed to be very unique in that he's the guy that volunteers for the mission even though he knows he's got no reason to be there. He's the guy that runs charging after the bad guy with a shovel and whacks him over the head and does no damage because he knows he's useless and he's always just trying to make himself useful. But he's only... That's my brother using the bathroom. And he's only useful in very, very specific circumstances. So this is the dynamic I want with this character. Now there are other ideas that could be part of separate universes or the same universe. Like there's a group of human hybrids, human subspecies called elementals. They're pretty self-explanatory. There's a group of magic users called the Relican. They use human relics, normally the relics of elementals or superheroes. There's a retrovirus. You get the virus, whatever happens to you the next 48 hours can change you in a significant way. So like if somebody shoots you with a gun, you become like adamant and you're bulletproof. And there's a drug gang, a drug cartel called the Red Vial. Oh yes, and there's an organization based on the legend of Nicholas Flamel, which you may remember from Harry Potter. Nicholas Flamel got his powers from a Jew, you know, a Levanite to be precise, Abraham the Levanite. So theoretically, that Abraham is a real person. He runs around. He started an organization where people that have the elixir of eternal life, you know, are combating the forces of evil. So yeah, I mean, I've got a really diverse sort of a universe, ideas for a universe kind of with these comics. I mean, look, I could go on and on all day. I mean, this stuff kind of flows out of me like a river. My big problem, I have to admit, is that my villains lack. I need to create much more powerful villains and much more powerful organizations of villains. I mean, I have concepts for demons and varying golems and zombies and such. All those sort of things have their existence. But coming up with these really pillar villains like, the Joker and Lex Luthor, I don't have those yet. So, but if I ever come close to the concept, I guess I'll have to create that. Anyway, so that's my idea for a comic book. As you guys may know, I actually have a comic strip, two of them in fact, Johnny American and Random Street Theater, and I'm behind on both right now because nobody reads them. And I'd put a link in the description, but none of you will click it. Yeah, I kind of relate to Hellscape. I feel just about as useless as he is some of the time. Anyway, I'm Richard.